Hello and welcome to all of you. Welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Harsh and in this video we shall discuss the feature news for today, that is 20th of January 2022. Today's feature news is on agricultural sector. A report by RBI talks about some achievements and quite a few challenges in the agriculture sector. And therefore in this discussion we will understand the theme of agriculture industry in our country and the advantages of it, what it has gained in the last 70 years, what are the things that we are still working on, some data about it, and some analysis, right? So before we begin, let me welcome all the people who are here. Hi Amlan, hi Akhila, good evening Somik, Ashmita, Sagarika, good evening to all of you. Hi Hima, hi Ashish, hello Pooja, hi Tiyasha, and Anonymous, good evening to you. Hi Lost Soul. And we do have Ravi, Sam, Kriti. Good evening. Welcome back. Welcome back, all of you. Welcome all the other people who are participating, not speaking. And welcome to all the people who are watching us offline, right? So before we begin this conversation, let me just quickly go to that part where you people mentioned some data about agriculture sector. I will repeat some of them which are really important and relevant, right? So I'm not going to talk about the keywords. I will only speak about the data. All right. So 15% GDP contribution by Kriti. Absolutely correct. And then we have another data linked to it. That is the agricultural intensity. What is the intensity in India? Can somebody tell me that? All right. 50% workforce and less than 20% of GDP by Ashish. Very good. And then we have Amlan says 70% of area dependent on rain. It is around 50%, which is rain fed, and 50% now because of the achievements of accelerated irrigation benefit program AIBP. We have done this 50% of rain fed, 50% of irrigated, assured irrigation, right? Then we have some more data from you people. Netra has provided very good data. For example, agricultural sector contribution has decreased from 50% of GDP to 15% of GDP right now. 50 to 15. It is a good development, in fact, right? Exports share in agriculture has decreased right now. It is 12%. All right. Anonymous presented very good data here. Around 16.5% of India's GDP. Employment is less than 50%, absolutely correct. And 75% of rural population directly, indirectly dependent on agriculture. Very good. 90% farmers are small farmers. Absolutely to the point, Anonymous. Very good. Moving ahead, more data here. Can you confirm, Anonymous, if India spends 2% of GDP on subsidies or not? This is very important. 2% of India GDP is on subsidies. It is a good one. But please confirm this. All right. Then we have some more data here. All right. None more. We will discuss this, right? Hi Ashok, Ram aapko bhi. Hi Jugnu. Sagarika, agriculture intensity. All right. Cropping intensity. So what is cropping intensity? Is the number of crops that are cultivated on the same field in 1 year. So do we have 3 seasons for cultivation? We have Kharif, Rabi and Zayed season, a smaller season in which Zayed, after Rabi season, couple of months in which we cultivate, smaller, fruits which get, ripened in a very small time, couple of months. So 3 seasons, but cropping intensity in India is just, around 140%, 1.4. So 1 full crop we are able to cultivate and only 0.4 of the other crop. Whereas if we have 3 seasons, should we not have cropping intensity of 3 or maybe 2? So cropping intensity is less in our country. Efficiency come hai na? So let us quickly understand all the issues, challenges and the good points about agriculture sector in India. All right. Okay, so let's begin this. Now, before we get into this, let me share with you some important things from RBI itself, some data from RBI's end. Now, this is the status of the participation of agricultural sector in our country, right? Earlier, 10 years back, it was such that it was 58% of, all right, this is the service sector. Yes, that's what I thought. The sector-wise contribution of agriculture sector was around 20%, 10 years back. And 23% for industry sector and 59 or 60% for the service sector 10 years back. And now it has decreased 20 to 15, This is one. Netra rightly mentioned, it decreased from 50% during the time of independence, now 15. Agriculture ka sector contribution to GDP has decreased. And then 23% again remained same for for the industrial sector. And the percentage of service sector has increased from 58 to 62. See? Now, this is what is destined to happen in an economy. I am discussing it, largely bird's eye view. Upar se dekhkar I am sharing with you that this is what happens to advanced economies. Advanced economies share of agriculture in GDP is 2%, 5%. This is the kind of share. I have explained you previously. It is because not that the value of agricultural goods is decreasing, value of all the goods is increasing with time, but the percentage of agricultural goods in the GDP of the country has decreased. It is just because we have created very diverse range of products and services, right? So agriculture to sabzi to wahi rahegi na, but services kitne aa gaye hain? So for example, somebody teaches guitar, somebody is counseling the other person. Ye hota tha kya pehle? It was not happening. Even if it was happening, it was not a part of the economic system, money exchange, right? So because of this, the sectoral division of agriculture has reduced with time. And this is a good indicator for an advanced economy. All right. Not that the people in agriculture will be getting less money. No, it does not indicate that. Right. So this critical analysis is very important. So this is one. The second one is the share of employment. Now, very few of you have mentioned the point of disguised employment. 50% of people, almost 45 to 50% directly in agricultural sector, whereas it is contributing only 15% to India's GDP. This is where the service sector per person, per capita efficiency is very high in service sector, especially in sectors which relate to financial services and information technology, right? These services, hotel industry and other trading services, less, but financial services and information technology, here the service efficiency per capita is very high and very, very low in agriculture sector. There is disguised unemployment in agriculture sector. This is the keyword here. Now, this is indicated through this, data by NSSO. It clearly says that if you see the last time it was conducted, the last one, 2011-12 report, it says 48% people in agriculture, and then we have in services around 25% people, and around 25% people in manufacturing. So 25, 25, 50, and around 50 again in agriculture. This is how you can remember. 50+% in agriculture, and rest of them around equally distributed in the industry and service sector. But service sector gives 60% of GDP. Imagine this. And the industry sector gives 25%. Only, the percentage, both the percentage are almost same. This is the idea to increase the proportion of manufacturing base. If you remember Make in India scheme, I had explained this, that the three components of Make in India, one of them is increasing the participation of the manufacturing sector in industry to 25%, and presently and for the last decade plus it is hovering around 16%. And to increase the percentage of manufacturing sector, which is a part of industry sector, 25% of the whole GDP, what do you have to do? We have to increase the capital good production in the country. We have to establish heavy goods industries in our country, primary goods industry in our country. This is what is required. This will lead to many, many products in the country. This is what is one of the goals of Make in India scheme, right? So getting to understand that agriculture may, a lot of people are employed. This is another thing. But see, what are the good points about a country like ours? See, we are amongst the largest producers of wheat. We are amongst the largest producers. Largest matlab ya to rank number 1 or 2. Largest producers of rice. We are amongst the largest producers of sugar cane. We are amongst the largest producers of cotton. We are amongst the largest producers of other articles as well. Let me give you some more examples here. For example, fruits and vegetables. What about the cattle? Number of cattle that India has. And what about the milk industry? One of the largest in the whole world. So why have I presented a blank map is for you to understand which are the major wheat producing regions, Green Revolution 1 regions, major rice producing regions along the coastal areas, and some places where Green Revolution was there. And then we have major production of sugarcane in North India, right, Uttar Pradesh, etc. And then the place where there is lavatic, there was lavatic flow, black soil flow. So this is the sugarcane and then cotton industry, right? So these are those industries which are really doing very well in our country, with production and productivity also has increased over time. Along with that, fruits and vegetables, very good production in country. We also export them. And then we have milk and cattle, right? Production is very high. But yes, one thing to note, apart from some green revolution, crops, the productivity is not as high. If you compare it with other developed economies, the productivity is not very high. Once where we look at the productivity of certain crops, for example, rice, the productivity has risen 3 times since Green Revolution, crossing 100 million tons. The productivity of wheat has risen 8 times since 1960s, crossing 90 million tons. Itna zyada production that we are saving, we are also procuring back, giving back to the world. In fact, you people yourself stated that this is one of the sector which was robust even during the times of COVID. That's it. That is absolutely true. India's sector was very, very robust during these times. But एक बार बारिश होती है, one season there's rainfall, or we have El Nino, or we have a gravitated or bad influence of La Nina, then we see the impact on agriculture. So that is also there. The vulnerability. But if you see, only few sectors have done well since Green Revolution. What about jawar? If you are able to see this part, the production of jawar, I have taken it from a credible website, RBI's. The production of jawar has only declined with time. How come? Yeah, millets, then pearl, pearl millet, bajra, it has only marginally increased with time. Ragi almost remains stagnant, right? Maize, yes, it has increased over time, because maize is, it is not only nutritious, it can also be used for cattle feed, it can be used for, alternate fuel production. Barley, not very, very much. Core cereals have increased, pulses have remained almost stagnated. And this is the reason that we have pulse production program in India. This is the reason that we have, huge imports of pulses in India. This is the kind of bumper production, 300 plus million tons of the coarse cereals and other cereals production in India. This is really high production. But if you look at the productivity, that is not very, very high, right? So this is one point that I am making here. Now, there are additional issues which were caused because of Green Revolution. See, this is the impact of watering the places where water was not required. So overflooding has led to salinization. Water has minerals, water has salt, and when excessive water is put on the field, it gets evaporated and it leaves the minerals and salt behind. This is what is leading to a worse quality of the soil. One impact of Green Revolution, वहां पर कर दिया जहां पर required नहीं था. What about decreasing quality and quantity of groundwater? We had studied groundwater 3 days back. See, the amount of groundwater in many of the places, Punjab and other places, it has decreased. Yesterday only we studied the reason why Indonesia is shifting its capital, because of excessive extraction of groundwater. So we have soil pollution, we have degradation in the quality and quantity of water, we have degradation in the quality of air because of excessive stubble, excessive burning of these kind of stubble. What about the input cost? It is rising. The fertilizer input and the pesticide input, it is abnormally high in our country, ranging from 3 to 4 to even 30-40 times at places. Itna thodi aise karna chahiye. Look at the kind of spraying of these pesticides that's happening. This is deadly. This is really deadly, literally deadly. So the point being that Indian agriculture on one hand is thriving, on the other hand there are challenges. This is the point that we are making. Mixed results. So we have to start working on productivity. When you compare the productivity of Indian agriculture with that of Western countries, we are far behind. Let me give you examples. The total land for agriculture production in India is 42%. We are blessed. Bangladesh is a blessed country. 70%, even 80% land of Bangladesh is used for agriculture production, right? It is not so in Russia. It is not so in other countries around the world. Many of the other countries, developed countries, the land is hardly 10%, 12%. Japan mein to zameen hi nahi hai. China में 10%, right? But they are having better yield. They are making their people not only fulfilled of the food security, but nutrition security also. अपने यहाँ food security है, nutrition security नहीं है. So productivity is what is required. We have to divert more agricultural land to the usage in forest areas. Agriculture is one place where efficiency has to increase, land has to decrease, right? This is what has been planned in the future times, right? Mechanization, agricultural mechanization in our country is very less, right? Some mission on agricultural mechanization. Remember SMAM, right? So we will have collective centers, right? Units where from agricultural people will be able to take on loans these vehicles and mechanize the agriculture production. Irrigation cover is only 50% in our country. That needs to increase. Just knowing that monsoon can devastate the agriculture is so much present. Assured irrigation is only at 50%, and we need to increase this. Not only that, we have to start practicing climate smart agriculture. क्या cultivate करना है यहाँ पर इस जगह पर? If saline varieties can be cultivated or not, right? I will present some examples to you today. For example, if we have the cultivation of rice along with paddy cultivation, along with fish farming in the same fields, that will be a boon. It is happening in South India. It is happening in Northeast India, right? This is what is called as climate smart agriculture. Producing those varieties of high yielding crops which have resistance to salinity. Waste management. इसको जिसको waste बोल रहे हैं वो waste थोड़ी है. It can be used. Stubble can be used in many ways. Mulching is one. We studied that. So waste management is very, very important component of it. Land reforms. You people have not mentioned this point, but the average land holding in our country has only decreased with time. Average land holding size in the country is 1 hectare now. Right? बच्चों के बच्चे के बहुत सारे बच्चे, and then it leads to fragmentation of land. And this is where FPOs, farm producer organizations, एक पूरा feature use किया था, how FPOs work, right? On they integrate the whole landscape, and some of the farmers are into production, some of them marketing, some of them research work, some of them on the ground, and this is one component. Disguised unemployment, this needs to reduce. Right? Price volatility is something that can be worked on by the government as well, and with people participation. See, so much to do in agriculture, and when we talk of diversification of agriculture, use these points in both the ways, right? We have to reduce the imports in agriculture, inputs in agriculture, reduce the inputs in agriculture. We have to ensure precision farming in multiple ways, use of technology, right? So drones for knowing the insurance cover, or the kind of production that has happened. Drones for spraying the pesticides. We could have precision agriculture for micro level irrigation. What about agricultural machinery? We just spoke of it. Agricultural clinics. Remember, परसों ही बात की थी ना, that we have to place ambulances for the veterinary services, right? In the case study. यही है, these are the examples. Agricultural extension, animal husbandry, right? Internet of Things. Remember digital farmer ID, digital farmer ID, digital IDs for farmer. This is where Internet of Things comes. Organic farming, biotechnology, right? Biotechnology in aid of farms. देखो भाई, अब I am getting tired of explaining the same thing. Point being, this is high time that you should start having these things in your tips that I have explained, right? I'm actually getting tired now because questions तो वही आ रहे हैं. Let me show you the questions and let me ask you if you can attempt a question like this. Part of the exam, and we have covered this all previously. The first question was, how did land reforms in some parts of the country help to improve socio-economic conditions of marginal and small farmers? First keyword is land reforms. Some parts of the country help to improve socio-economic conditions. Second keyword, key phrase. Third is marginal and small farmers. How did it do that? Have you studied Bhuparikshan? So Bhuparikshan was that key device through which we were able to test the soil covered in the terms. So use this device to be able to understand the quality of degraded land and then provide inputs. Agri-Stack, digital IDs for farmers. If we have them, we will be able to use these services to provide direct benefit to the farmers, right? So this is one. We will be able to assess the quality of water or the level of water supply available or the kind of electricity supply, everything through this Agri-Stack. Farm producer organization. क्या नहीं mention कर सकते हो of land reforms. Many other things. These are only examples. The second question that was asked, how and to what extent would micro irrigation help in solving India's water crisis? Micro irrigation. We covered one drop per crop, more crop per drop, right? Krishi Sinchai Yojana, this was in news because this program was extended from 2021 to 25. These were among the questions that we expected that would be covered. So how and to what extent would micro irrigation would help? If you have to write 200 words, can you present me 5 points in which it could help? So looking at a deck, some 5 keywords for answers, some examples of micro irrigation happening around the country, some data indicating कि water loss कैसे हो रहा है, and some analysis of it, right? It leads to better agricultural integration. बस this is what is required. यही तो बोलता हूँ every time. A deck याद रखो, आंसर बनते जाएंगे. What are the present challenges before crop diversification? This is one. How do emerging technologies provide an opportunity for crop diversification? So first part is present challenges before crop diversification, one, and emerging technologies, how do they provide opportunity for crop diversification? Emerging technologies. So first part is crop diversification challenges. MSP has not been treated as the last resort. MSP has been treated as the first resort. Diversify ho nahi pa raha hai. We are into wheat and rice all the time, right? Biotechnology. How can emerging technologies help in aid? Biotechnology. We are creating a resource called as biotech pride, covered in terms. Now in that we are creating a complete data bank of all the resources in our country and how biota resources and how it can be used for aid of people, right? Rice fish farming used in Arunachal, used in south of India, Kerala. Seaweed cultivation is happening at many places with the help of technology. These are examples. These can become cases, right? And emerging technologies provide an opportunity for crop diversification. Why use karo na digital farmer ID? Same part can be used again over here. So many of it, right? So point being, yahi aayega. This will come next year also. Point is, will you be prepared? Will you be ready with these ADEC or not? Abhi to you are part of video and I'm very happy. My viewership is increasing. But what about you? That is the main point of discussion. Is it helping you? If you're doing the ADEC, that is it, right? So let me get back. Major achievements of Indian agriculture. See, the production of coarse cereals or overall production has increased so much. Horticulture has improved so much. Since the times of 1960s, there was hardly any horticulture, this dark blue, and it has increased so much. Not only that, if you see rice and wheat cultivation, it has only increased phenomenally, around 5 to 6 times. So with total food grains, but pulses production has not increased. We have not diversified. Right? This is one important inputs from RBI only, right? We need more diversification towards horticulture. Allied activities. What are allied activities? Ye dekho. Don't get confused. These are the allied activities. Anything related to animal husbandry, dairy, agricultural extension, natural resource management, waste to wealth conversion, organic farming, biotechnology, precision farming. Yahi to. This is how we are diversifying agriculture, no? Increasing more. Now, if you look at this point, we have done really even in some components. For example, we have diversified more for high value commodities. Look at egg production. It has increased 53 times since 1950-51. Fish production 17 times. One of the major fish and shrimp exporting nation, India. Horticulture increased 10 times. Milk production 10 times. Food grains 6 times. High value commodities. That is the point that I'm making, that we have used it to our advantage. That is true. But productivity is not very, very big. See, so enablers is that yes, crop yield in India have been only 30 to 60%. Yield has been only less. Farm mechanization, it is level of only 40% as compared to other countries like Brazil 75, Russia 80%, right? So our farm mechanization is very, very less. 30%. Productivity is only 30 to 60% in crops, right? Irrigation cover only 50% in our country, right? So these are the things that you can look at when you talk about productivity, agricultural intensity that I mentioned, crop intensity. So what are the challenges? Some other challenges that must be looked at. One of them is climate change, right? This is the reason that we need climate smart agriculture, right? How are other countries managing this? Other countries are also facing the same problem. What about agricultural waste management, right? See, rice has got some husk, and that husk has got silicon and other kind of ingredients which are not easily degradable, right? So it needs to be, part of some other supply chain, because it takes time for it to get degraded. We need to make it as an important resource material for other inputs. Husk, mulching good, right? So agricultural waste management, we have to look into that. We have to look at fragmented land holding. See, the average size of land holding has come down to 1 hectare from 2 hectares 50 years back. You people were very correct when you said 90%. Netra was very correct in saying 90% of agricultural farmers are, what was that fact? 90% of agricultural farmers are from the smaller and medium families. I think that was the one, right? Disguised unemployment, that is very high in agriculture sector. This needs to reduce. People need to get mobilized to other sectors in rural areas. Food inflation and volatility in prices. Yes, this is another important thing. Farmer must receive the advantage of the price movement advantage, not the loss of it, right? Middlemen are the one who are enjoying this right now. This must get back to the farmers. Now, point is, इतना कुछ cover किया हमने. अच्छा, PD, also FPOs, farm producer organizations, the actual beneficiary, potential beneficiary, and we also need a second green revolution. अब हम लोग कितना भी detail में इसको पढ़ लें, points तो यही रहेंगे, right? The keywords will be picked from here only. So, wisdom lies in trusting the sources that you are covering. Don't get into fear of missing out. FOMO नहीं होना चाहिए. यही है agriculture. मैंने दिखा दिया. I showed you in UPSC question, UPSC standard questions, what can be the input, what can be gained from these articles, how much can we make, how much more credible can we become. This is the point I'm making. Don't get into fear of missing out कि और क्या cover कर सकते थे, right? I am actually mapping the questions that we covered and that came in the main examination. I did that myself for pre-exam also, and I can tell you with decent level of credibility and authority that you study the current affairs gazette, you study Cosmos, the final pages, and you follow some of the texts that we go through, for example main support program, you will see the wonderful things. These are exactly what is required for the exam. I will not talk about the history and theory of it. So point being, the facts that covered here are very important. Agricultural mechanization, farm productivity, irrigation, and so on and so forth. The facts here. Many of you have mentioned the facts in the last video. Great. And over and above that, the advantages that we achieved through agricultural green revolution, the first one. The kind of production that we attained, productivity levels that we attained, rice, wheat, etc. Eggs, right? 50 times production. Fish, 15, 20 times production. What about milk? 10 times, right? So with other products. And what are the issues that are associated? See, some broader issues, 5-6 broader issues, and some examples of it, some cases of it. We also understood some specific cases of places. And the wider wisdom is in helping the farmers out, farm producer organizations, right? Reducing their disguised unemployment. So yahi hai, this is what it is. घुमाकर बार-बार पूछेंगे, innovative banana hai. So remember, least, do you understand what is called as the least effort principle? सबसे कम effort लगेगा and you will be able to achieve what is required. So follow the ADEC analysis, data, example, cases and keywords, and you will be able to achieve what they have asked in these three questions. We will cover all the questions ek ek karke. You will see, and this is what is required. Now you should start looking at writing answers for these questions, right? So these were the questions that we just saw, and this is how we come to the conclusion of the feature news. If you like this initiative, all right, the question for today. India needs the Green Revolution 2.0. Comment. The second Green Revolution, which should have the advantages of the first one, but should limit and curtail the impacts of the first Green Revolution. You have to comment on this, right? The second Green Revolution or ever Green Revolution in our country. Look at the internal sector of economy, export sector. See, not all data is present here, but it definitely makes your article inclusive. Slowly and steadily, we will add data to it. We have covered an article on MSP, right? A complete feature news on MSP. We have covered one on farm and remunerative, fair and remunerative pricing also of sugarcane industry. We covered the cotton industry also. So we will keep covering one by one many other industries. Point being, they will only add to the base content that you have. This is the base content that was just provided, right? So if you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments, and shares. Let me read out the comments. Spider-Man is back. All right. So what are you people mentioning here? Let me see. Great amount of data here. Hima says cropping intensity is also decreasing. It may decline by 7% nationally and by 24% in most severely affected areas. All right, great. This is where please connect this to yesterday's discussion on the rainfall in the country and the rising in temperatures because of climate influence. Do you remember yesterday's talk? We talked about the Forest Survey of India report in the feature news, where we mentioned that Himalayan region will have lesser rainfall and higher temperatures, right? So connected to that, agriculture production in those areas. Those areas are popular for production of fruits and vegetables, horticulture, flower cultivation. And also India produces about 10% of world's crops and is now the world's largest consumer of groundwater. See, the groundwater optimization needs to be there in our country. Ravi says, Hima, thank you for this. Ravi says, after 1991, India focused on service more than manufacturing. That is true. Ashmita says 17% cattle in India in total of the world, with only approximately 3% of grazing land. Yes, all right. Tea, coffee, jute, rubber, number one in guava production. All right. Mango exports to USA. Yes, we have restarted mango exports, and Europe, there were non-tariff barriers on mango export to the European economies. 13% of villages in which farmers plant a winter crop are located in critically water depleted regions. Good keyword. Thank you, Hima, again. Very impressive. I would like you to read each other's comments as well. Critically water depleted regions. We had covered this in groundwater resources. Use that here. Very good. All right. Ashmita says major focus on food grains like rice, wheat in first grain revolution. True. 7 main. All right. Flood irrigation done in Punjab. That's true, Ashmita. Spider-Man, welcome back. So you're watching it offline. All right. I was planning to leave Delhi. Okay. What else? Ashish says 90% farmers have small and marginal land holdings. Okay, good. It was 85%. Now it has further decreased because of fragmentation, Ashish. Yes. And then we have 7 main. Neil Kamal Burman saying crop, livestock, forestry, fishing in terms of contribution. All right. Hima says good quality seeds can account for 20-25% of increased productivity. Okay. Anonymous says thank you. Amlan says thank you. Babani, Akhila, Lokeshwar, thank you very much. Sophia Patel, what is the role of biotechnology in agriculture, sir? Biotechnology? All right. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Kriti. Welcome all of you, and new viewers, you are most welcome. Be a participant for daily, discussions and current affairs conversations. We will definitely go ahead with this. I'm sure of this. All right. Then we have Pooja. Good night. Good night, Pooja. Take care. So we have a question from Sophia who says, what is the role of biotechnology in agriculture, sir? Biotechnology in agriculture, first of all, if you look at the sector of biotechnology, it can help in bettering the variety of seeds, right? This is one thing. We also have a biotech pride mission for our country, right? Mission pride. This will enable a biotechnology resource for the countries, not only for humans but for crops as well. So we will come to know which crop to plant at which particular place. It will improve the variety or the races of seeds that we plant at our places, at various places. Through biotechnology, we will come to know about the kind of pest attacks that happen in the country, right? So when we have BT, cotton, we can have further crops like this. I'm not saying BT cotton is the best, yield. It has got its own debates, but point being, biotechnology can be used to produce those kind of seeds or crop which will be less, harmful, which will yield less harm in the attack of pest, or we will not need fertilizers for them. Similarly, biotechnology can help us create those kind of plants which are resistant to salinity. Promptly तो मेरे दिमाग में ये चीजें आ रही हैं. There can be many other things which you can think 1 minute, and then you will realize that your mind will have bursting of ideas, right? So this is how biotechnology can help in production of a better agriculture in India, right? Sophia, Tiasha, welcome. Sagarika, welcome. Varsha says, sir, water stagnation in Punjab and Haryana due to canal irrigation. Absolutely, Varsha, that is true. This is what is required. One of the pointers gives some data around it, and this point is complete. 5-6 points like that, Varsha, and you see the remarkable achievements that you have in your the answer marks that you score, right? So thank you for participation. Great to see all of you here. I will see you again tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. and we'll try to reduce the time in the beginning so that you start thinking at the spur of the moment. 2-3 minutes mein socho, you put down your comments and then we begin, right? That's the idea, to strategically design to ensure that you have a prompt thinking attitude towards questions asked. All right. So we will see you tomorrow evening. Thank you for participation. We will see you tomorrow for the current affairs and the featured news video. Thank you and good night. Please remember ADEC and write down the keywords.